Hey guys, Chris Hale here, CEO of Vetrepreneur, and really pleased to have Brian Moss, the founder and CEO of AAAC Wildlife Removal, who is our 2024 Vetrepreneur of the Year. Brian, welcome.
All right. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much.
Nice. Hey, what part of the country are you in?
I'm in Southeast Texas, in Houston, just north of Houston.
Okay. Yeah,
World's greatest country.
you guys have had a little bit of weather lately.
Yeah, we get our fair share of weather right now. It's just kind of hot and stagnant and humid, but it's Texas. We take it with a grain of salt, keep moving.
Yeah. You need to do a reality TV show with your business. I think there'd be a lot of interesting stories there.
Got a few of them. We have a YouTube channel, and we been growing. We're getting a lot of subscribers. A lot of people are interested in what we do day to day. I don't see why, but I guess I'm entertainment for some people. That's fine with me. I'm kind of a character anyway.
Well, I came on, we started talking a little bit before here. We're talking about coyote removal. So tell us a little bit about tell us a little bit about that. That's pretty interesting stuff.
Right. Well, that's just a small portion of what we do. Allergies are bad, so excuse me. But coyotes, yes, it's a small portion of what we do. I'm actually trapping downtown Houston. If you know anything about the Houston area, there's a it's called the Bayou City. There's a bayou goes right through the middle of it, Buffalo Bayou, and coyotes get in that bayou system and they just move along through there. A lot of homes on that, and they move up in the neighborhood yards. They'll actually kill dogs and cats and stuff like that. So they hire me to go into the homeowners association and get the coyotes out of there and take care of their dogs, make sure nothing happens to them. But small portion, that's what we were talking about. A typical day for me: coyotes, hogs, beavers, nutria, maybe a snake or two, alligators in one day. That's a typical little day for me.
Wow, that's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, we had interestingly, last night, I'm sitting on my front porch in the evening after dinner. My neighbor starts running over. He's driving down the street, starts running over to the other side of the street. I'm like, what's going on there? I walk over there. There was a hawk. It turned out to be I thought it was a falcon, but it turned out to be, we looked it up, it was a Cooper's hawk, if you know
Cooper's
what
hawk,
that
yes,
is.
sir.
And it was sprawled out on the sidewalk. And we initially thought it got hit by a car. It was still alive, was flapping around. It had both talons caught in one wing and like dug in, and it couldn't remove its talons from the wing.
Oh,
Make a
wow.
long story short, we called all kind of people. It was after hours. Nobody would come. I went to go to get a box and put them in the box and keep them for the next day so that we could have somebody come out and see if they could, rescue it or whatever. And I went back with the box and it had died in the meantime. But yeah, pretty weird stuff. But I'm
Yeah.
sure you get crazy stuff like that all the time.
I get some different kind of calls. Yeah, they're different kind, but hey, they paying me. I'm going. I don't care what it is.
What's the most common type of wildlife removal request that you get?
Uh, in this area, it's probably going to be rats.
Hmm.
Rats are wildlife. I know they're a pest, but they are considered wildlife. And that's probably our number one animal that we take care of in the Houston area. We do a lot of raccoons also. And it's also depends upon the time of year.
Hmm.
Different parts of the year, whether it's winter, spring, or fall, we'll get more calls for different animals.
Okay, yeah. You guys you ever get bats in the attic?
Yes, sir. We do bats year round, but our biggest majority of our bat calls start coming in the spring, and then we'll do a lot of bat work in the springtime, throughout the
Hmm.
summer, and then in the early fall we'll do a lot of bat work. We have our large portion of our bats are the Brazilian freetail or Mexican freetail bat, and they do migrate quite a bit. So yeah, we do a lot of bat work.
Hmm. And when did you how do you guys charge for your services? Is it mostly like do homeowner insurance pay for it, or is it private pay usually?
It's usually private pay, residential. Sometimes insurance can be involved. But down here in Texas, it's a little different than other parts of the country where insurance pays a lot for it. So most of the time it's homeowners are paying us directly, or we do a lot of commercial
Mm.
wildlife removal also. And as far as pay, every job is different. That's what I try and tell someone. We really can't give them a quote over the phone. It's like a mechanic. You call a mechanic, hey, something's wrong with my truck. I need you to tell me how much it's going to be. He's got no clue. So it's
Yeah.
the same way with us. I don't know what it is until I get there and take a look of what's going on and the
Yeah.
extent of what needs to be done.
Yeah. You guys are like a stepped up exterminator, right? Exterminators take care of the insects. You guys take care of the stuff that
Right. Yeah. The,
has a
the
full
bug
face.
guys, the pest control, I do have a pest control license for the state of Texas. I do not do any type of pest control. I do carry wasp spray on the truck simply because everything I do, I'm not afraid of any animal, but I am afraid of wasps. I don't like them. I don't want to be, I'll run away from them. So I carry wasp spray. But yeah, pest control guys, they generally exterminate bugs and stuff. We don't generally exterminate our animals. We just get them and we relocate them if we can. We check them if they're sick. We have to euthanize, stuff like that. But yeah, we generally relocate most of our animals into another habitat where there's no one around.
Let's back up a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your military experience. So, branch of service, when you were in, what you did in the military.
All right. I joined the Army in 1986. I'd gotten out of high school. I'd kind of always wanted to be in the military, but I got out of high school and I worked with my dad as a welder, as an iron worker, back and forth in jobs. And it's just not a life that I was interested in leading or living, working in the industries around Lake Charles, Louisiana and Southeast Texas. It's just not what I wanted to do. So I wanted adventure like every young kid wanting to get out. So I joined the Army as a cavalry scout and I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. You get to run through the woods with your hair on fire, going crazy and having fun. And I wound up staying in the military for a little over 22 years. I loved every minute of it. There was good times and bad times, but it was a part of my life and big part of my life. I tell everyone whenever I retired, I kept three parts of the military. And that was my haircut, the paycheck, and my combat boots. And I still wear combat boots today. They're comfortable. They fit my feet well. So, but yeah, after 22, a little over 22 years, I decided I wanted to do something different. So I retired and moved back here to Southeast Texas and been going at it since.
Got it. Nice. So you retired, I guess, 08, 86 to 08?
Oh yeah, 08, 07, 08, right in there. Had a lot
Oh,
of terminal leave and leave saved up like
yeah, yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, got it. Okay. And then what did you do after that and how long until you got into doing what you're doing now?
Actually, excuse me. Actually, it was a great fit. I was at Fort Knox, Kentucky, and I had been talking to the old CEO of it was AAAC Animal Control, and we actually bought into the franchise system. Mark Dotson, the original owner, the CEO, we bought into there, and I opened up in Louisville, Kentucky, and we were working and doing that. I was still in the Army, and I was transitioning out, so it was an easy transition. But right at the end, we decided we wanted to move back to Texas. So I sold that territory to one of my soldiers who fell in love with the business, and he stayed there in Elizabethtown, worked in Louisville, and we retired and moved back to Texas. I got my license here. We opened up here and have been growing ever since.
Nice. So you bought you were a franchisee.
I was a franchisee.
Yep.
Mark Dotson was also he had been in the Air Force during the first Gulf War, so he was a veteran also, and he really loved veterans. And I'm like, well, I'm a veteran, and we hit it off really well. And a couple of my buddies from the Army, my personal buddies, actually came in also and they're doing the same thing. They love this, and so it kind of grew.
Nice. And then did you buy the system? You became the franchisor, the franchise
Right.
owner?
After we had been in for a few years, Mark Dotson, he decided that he's wanted to go ahead and retire. And so he told us he took it about as far as he could have. Me and my wife had ideas. He actually made me the training center for the entire franchise system for us,
Mm,
because people would come here. The weather was great for year-round training. Up north where he was, during the wintertime, they business slowed down a little bit. So I was like, look, man, down here in Texas, in the middle of the winter, we can still go outside in shorts. And so he made me the training center. And then when he got ready to retire, he's like, he pulled me and my wife aside and said, hey, I want to retire and I want to offer it to you guys uh, to buy me out and become the owners and franchisors. And so me and my wife, we really didn't discuss it very long. It was what we wanted to do, and we were like, "Hey, done deal." And we bought him out, took over, and started growing. And we uh, we had our own mindset about where the direction we wanted to take the company. We didn't want to sell to just anybody. It had to be a fit for the person wanting to buy a franchise and for us wanting to sell a franchise. We had to kind of fit with those people. You can't mix oil and water, so you want to make sure that everybody will be happy and they're good at they're a good fit for the company. And so we've been getting our systems in place, and we've been doing pretty well now.
yeah, that's awesome. So you bought the company, what year was that, just as a time frame?
What was that year? Yeah, it was 2014 is when we bought it.
Okay. And you've got, how many franchise owners do you have in the system now, or franchise
We have
territories?
25, and we just sold Dallas, Texas. We
Okay.
just sold Dallas, Texas. And so we have 25, and we're looking, I think we've got four more we're fixing to get ready to open up. We've got a lot of people interested. We're going through. Me and my franchise development officer have been traveling quite a bit to different military posts. What we're looking for is, excuse me, veterans getting ready to retire or exit the military that uh, don't really have a solid plan yet. Like whenever I got ready to retire, I spent my entire life in the military. Everything I did was for the military, and I never took a lot of time on my personal career after the military, going to college or anything like that. It was all about the military. I wanted to do the best job I could. But whenever it came down to the end, I really didn't have a plan. I figured, hey, I just work at Walmart. But that just can't be. You can't earn a living doing that. Nothing against that. It's just I didn't want to be a door greeter and live on a fixed income. So I'm looking for someone that's getting out of the military that wants a career, that wants to be their own boss. I mean, we spent our whole lives in the military taking orders from the other person. Well, hey, now the time is for you to be your own boss, to call the shots, and you are in charge. You own your destiny. I tell people, you want to grow, come this way. You can
Yeah.
grow in your own business. You can earn a good living. I mean, I do fine. Uh, I may not ever be on the top 500 list in the world, but you know what? I'm pretty good for a guy from South Louisiana with a high school education. I'm not doing bad.
Yeah. Amen. What does it cost to get into a franchise?
Our franchise fees, it depends on the territory. I mean, you can get into one for 35 to $55,000, and you can get into a franchise and do very well. We opened up one month and a half ago. Their first month was amazing.
Hmm.
They come out the door shooting left and right, and next thing you know, they're calling, "Did you see our numbers?" I'm like, "I did." And they're just, "That's unbelievable." I said, "I told you, you will
Yeah.
do fine." And they are exploding and just doing an amazing job. They couldn't be happier.
So Brian, as a franchise owner, what is your primary, responsibility, and like typically how many employees might you have?
um, as a franchise owner here in Houston, I have 7 employees that work for me, technicians and franchise development officer and stuff. And so I operate 5 technicians under me. I have one guy that assists me. The other 4 technicians are out there running. I've got 2 of them in teams, but 5 to 6 technicians for me, and then I've got my office staff also.
Okay, got it. What's the difference between being a franchisee and a franchisor. What was the biggest shift that you had to make whenever you bought the company 10 years ago?
Well, that's a funny question because as a franchisor, I am still a franchisee. Uh, I'm the North Houston owner, and also we have support services, which is the overall franchisor that's over everyone. But I still pay royalties to support services out of my Houston office. So I am a franchisee. So the pain that all the franchisees, when they're going through a pain, I was like, look, I'm in the same boat as you. I understand. Try this. And it works out well. And I think my franchise offices, they seem to understand me better because I'm in it with them. I'm just not somebody sitting up in an office somewhere and calling the shots. I'm not corporate. I am in a sense, but every day they know that I'm out there in the mud doing the same type of things. I'm in attics, on roofs, and I think it keeps me grounded, and everyone in the system understands that I'm grounded because we're in this together. We want to grow. I still call offices when I run into a snag that I don't understand. There's certain people I'll call. Excuse me. I'll ask them, hey, you ever seen this? Yeah. So I'm like, well, what do you do? And so they help me out and I help them out because it goes both ways. That's one of the greatest things about a franchise system is I can call, I've got 25 other offices out there that have that have seen the same things that I see. So they've been there. They've done that. They might know something that I don't know. So it's a plethora of information. It's like a magic box you can reach in and grab an answer if you don't know it. Hey, they know it. So that's one of the greatest things about the franchise system.
No, that's great. One of the things we tell veterans all the time is, having a franchise is being in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You've got that support network, and you got mom and dad at corporate, the franchisor level, but you got a bunch of battle buddies and siblings across the country running that same business. And,
oh, absolutely. And I have one of my offices, Christy Steele. She called me one day, and she was underneath a home in North Carolina. And she asked me, she goes, look, I'm running into this situation. There's an animal under the bathtub. I can't figure out what it is. I don't know what it is. And I'm under there right now and I just don't know. I said, well, Christy, I said, my number one animal underneath the house, under a bathtub, is going to be a possum. And about that time, she screamed and she's like, it's right here. It's a possum. I said, I told you. So, we face the same things across the country for the most part. And it's fun whenever you can help someone else out.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge? I would imagine maybe access to hiring technicians with the labor market kind of tough these days. Is that one of the biggest challenges you have?
It is a huge challenge. Finding technicians that absolutely don't have a problem going outside and working in the heat. Finding someone that shows up on time. Finding someone that's not stuck on their phone. They're like this when you're talking to them. Put the phone away, listen to me, pay attention. I'll teach you something. But that's one of the biggest challenges is finding someone that will stay off the phone, that's tech savvy, that can understand how to work on an iPad because we've gone paperless, that'll pay attention, show up, and give you a good day's work. That's one of the reasons I love veterans so much is with me, my experience, the veterans typically, they're like, yeah, I'll take care of it. I'll do it. They'll just get out there and they'll do it. It doesn't matter what the weather is because we've all been there. It's raining. Well, you're still training. So you just get out there, you do it, you figure it out, and you don't have to be told exactly how to do it. You just figure it out.
Yeah. What's your vision for the future? What do you want to accomplish with the company in the next 5 years?
Grow, baby, grow.
Yeah.
We are growing. I want to help as many people as I can to get out there. We're on this kick to get veterans, get them a career, a comfortable career, doing something that they love. When I show up at a veteran, at a military post, say we go to Fort Cavazos and I talk to people, I told my franchise development officer, Vincent, I was like, look, I'm not here for everybody. I'm here for one or two people that want to do something passionately. I said, it's not a good fit for everyone, but there's one or two people here that want to work with wildlife and they want to be their own boss. And you just look for those little diamonds in the rough. That's that's the fun part about it. When you go out and you meet somebody and you guide them to this, and then they go out and then they start working and they call you and going and on their first sales call and they go, man, I just sold this for X amount of dollars and this is like the coolest thing ever. And I'm like, man, I know. So just call me whenever you make $10,000 your first month, and you get that phone call. And then I always tell them, wait till you do 25,000, and not long after you get that phone call. And I'm gonna toot my horn. I told one fella years ago. I'm sorry, I keep shaking the table. I'm from Louisiana, so I talk with my hands a lot. It's hard not to do that. But I had one in my office. I could tell them about my office up there. Okay. I just want to make sure I can tell this, but one of my offices, I trained him and I told him, I said, man, I said, one of these days you're going to call me and you're going to thank me when you make your first million. And he's like, yeah, okay. He called me, it's a few months ago, and this guy's been with us for, I don't know, 12 years or something like that. He called me and he goes, look, we talk all the time. He goes, man, he goes, I just want to tell you something. He goes, I've been meaning to do it for a long time. He said, I wanted to thank you. And it was coming out of the blue. I was like, what for? And he said, do you remember when I trained and you told me you were going to make me a millionaire? And I was like, yeah, I do remember that. And he said, I'm way past that. And he goes, I just wanted to thank you. He said, I never in my life could I have dreamed that I would be a millionaire catching animals. And I told him, I said, man, that's one of the best phone calls I've ever had. He was just, from a big man to just be humble and thanking me for his success. And I told him, I said, man, that's you. You're successful because of who you are. And he said, well, I had a good teacher. That made my head was swell up. I just felt good. I mean, it doesn't happen like that for everybody, but it's one of the best things about this business. You can get as big as you want and do as much as you want. It's up to you. Your dreams. I mean, the path is out there. I just show you the path.
Yep. No, it's rewarding. Well, listen, Brian, it's been great. Again, congratulations, Vetrepreneur of the Year. And any last words of wisdom for aspiring veterans who are aspiring to become business owners?
Just get out there, find what you're passionate about, and do it. Take a chance. I mean, I think Steve Harvey said, you're never going to fly if you don't spread your wings and jump. You got to do that. And I watch that all the time. But you got to get out there, put yourself out there, and don't be afraid to talk to people. Tell them who you are. I have my YouTube channel and I act a fool, but it's who I am. I enjoy what I do. I love telling people about what I do. And if someone's thinking about doing something in their future after the military, just go out there and go for it. There's nothing holding you back. Once I got out of the military, that was it. Nothing was holding me back.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. No, good stuff. Hey, again, congratulations. And you're an inspiration for all of us. And
thank you.
Yeah, good stuff, man. It's a fun business. Really enjoyed talking to you today.
I appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Yes, sir. Thank you.